So welcome everybody, welcome Carolina to this new episode, to this new encounter with you where we share little insights, small insights about why we do what we do, why we like what we do with hypnosis, PNL, and more than that, and why we want to help so many souls and women to become their best version. So before we start, Carolina, let me remind the audience, let me remind who will watch this video to subscribe to my channel and to Carolina's channel. You will find the links, of course, in my channel. You can subscribe right away, but you will find Carolina's channel link in the description of this video. And also leave a comment. Leave suggestions if you want us to share something that you're curious about, and share these videos if you like them with other people to help my channel become visible, but also to help other people that may need to receive this information. So now said that, we can start with our new episode. And Carolina, yes, today you gave me a beautiful idea because you suggested us to speak about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind and the difference between these two parts that are the whole of us. Yes, so I leave you start with it.
Hello, it's nice to see you again. Of course, you, Sabrina, you are my host, my great host. I very like to speak to you, so I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to be with you. And I hope you will join to our small community and it will grow every day. We hope so, because we only want to share with you the facts about our life. In fact, it's about our life, because everything that we are learning every day, it comes from the experience. So today we decide to talk about subconscious and conscious mind. And sometimes I think many people don't understand this difference, because usually we are living on this automatic way, but from the other side, we try to plan something, we try to arrange our life, we try to manage every day. And it's in fact, we are using the subconscious and our conscious mind at the same time, but we are not realizing that. And our conscious mind, we need that to make a decision for every day, to make a realistic decision, to make plans, to decide what is the best for us today, to think about what is important for us and choose what is the best for us. And that is the conscious mind. When we are trying to live our daily life with our habits, with our work, with our duties. But the subconscious mind that we don't realize usually, it's the biggest part in our daily life, because most of habits, most of patterns of our thinking, of our acting, of our making decision comes from that. So in fact, the most important source of our activity is the subconscious mind. How do you think, Sabrina?
Well, I can only agree with you. It is actually like that. It's that we are not aware of our decisions and our choices and our life to be shaped by how our subconscious mind has been trained and how it functions automatically. We think that we make choices, free choices, when we decide about something, but most of the time we are choosing and we are deciding according to some programs, according to some neural connections that belong to some old or maybe not so useful beliefs that we have installed over time. And this is how the subconscious mind works. It is like a recorder. And once it records a new program or a program, it goes on automatically and we cannot control it anymore. So we think that we are doing things freely, but actually we're doing things according to that recording that is playing on and on in the same way. And I remember that many, many years ago, when I started being very curious about how the mind works, I don't know if you have ever heard about it, Carolina, but there has been a study and also a documentary. I think it was a documentary I watched, but there was a study going on where different neuroscientists from different countries in the world were asked to draw, like to make a drawing of the subconscious mind compared to the conscious mind. So every one of the neuroscientists were kind of laughing at the person that was asking this question, because they were like, I cannot even really give you the dimension of the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. So they were always, most of them were having a paper and they were like, if this white paper was to be the subconscious mind, the conscious mind would be just a tiny little dot on it.
Yeah.
And that was really, really enlightening for me, because I was like, oh my God, we think we are awake. We think that we live our life, and fully conscious and fully aware of what we're doing. But actually, we are doing everything on automatic pilot.
Yes, exactly. It's like you said, like, for example, we think that we are using our conscious mind, that we are making these choices, but in fact, in many situations, we don't even know, why do I feel this way? Why did I make this choice? Why did I did something? It's not, that now when you make a choice, you are sure about that. Usually you struggle, and when you struggle, when you don't feel this compatibility between your feelings and your actions, then it's a sign that it's something from your subconscious mind is working now, that you can't feel, for example, say that you are not so sure about this decision, that you are struggling with meeting these new people, that you have this thoughts, these feelings, and you can't even say why. You can't understand why it shows up in your life now in this moment, when you, for example, are buying a car and now you feel like rejected or something like this. It's when you are aware enough, then you can see and you can notice the struggle, because usually we just push it away. Oh, okay, it's maybe because of something different. But when you are aware and when you are starting to observe yourself, your reaction, your thoughts, your feelings in this special moment, that in fact it's even not related to the situation, then you can find that it's strange, that there is something deeper and I don't even know what it is. Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this feeling? Why do I have these feelings inside of me? And the awareness is, I think, it's the most important part when you want to know yourself and find out what is really going on in yourself, inside of you, to have this insight that there must be something, what was the reason of my feelings.
Yeah, totally agree. And today we call this video that we are making now, we call it the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind. What I come to believe more and more, and I want you to tell me what you think about this, but what I come to believe more and more is that the more we become aware of how our subconscious mind works and how we can reprogram it, how we can train it, the more we become conscious beings.
Yes.
Because life is all about being lived. So we come here and we come on earth.
Being present.
We come here and we are supposed to be present, to be able to manage life. But unless we don't realize that the most important part is the subconscious mind, we are never fully present. We are never fully connected with ourselves. One other thing that I've learned because of other activities that I do is that the brain is the center of our functions, emotional, mental, and physical functions. Every neuroconnection in our brain is handling, regulating, managing different functions, okay? But when we think, we create new neuroconnections every day. This is why we are always invited to learn new things, because the more we learn new things, the more neuroconnections we create, the more our brain can regenerate itself. The problem is that when we are only stuck on a certain pattern of thoughts, we will never regenerate really our brain, because we will renew only the same types of thoughts. And studies done by Dr. Joe Dispenza or other researchers have shown that we are producing around 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts per day, which is not good or bad, but you know, if the majority of these thoughts are always the same, because we keep thinking in the same way and then we keep acting in the same way, we are not becoming different beings. So I would like you to tell me what you think about this.
What I think is, you can't have a new, I think I said that before, you can't have new results when you are doing the same way. When you are using the same way of thinking, the same way of acting, the same way of doing, the same people, the same places, the same stuff, you can't have new results. If you want to have new results, then you need to do something in a new way. There's no other way. That's why also Joe Dispenza said that, of course, you can create this new neural pathways for your brain, to develop your brain, to change your life. But when you will observe yourself for one day, you can find out, I'm sorry, it's my dog.
It's nice to hear.
It's you can find out that your thoughts today are almost the same thoughts that you had yesterday, that almost 90% of your thoughts are repeated every day, and you are repeating them every day. So in fact, you are living in the kind of loop that you are only repeating this struggling, these concerns, these thoughts, this, you know, everything that you usually have in your day. And if you will observe you will just say, yes, it's true. And when you will always go back to the same way of thinking, you can't create nothing new. Even if your brain has got so huge possibility, opportunity, that it's so amazing, you are not using that. And you are sitting in the same place, in the same time, with the same people, and you are nagging on your life because you are not satisfied.
Yes. And it becomes like a repeated circle. Repeated process. I also want to point out something else, Carolina. It's about, you know, putting together the knowledge of how our subconscious mind and how our conscious mind work with the daily life. So we all go through many different experiences. Beautiful experiences, heavy experiences, sad, dramatic experiences, exciting experiences. But I think that the important, I go back to the being present, you know, the important and absolute challenge for us is to become present in what we do. And working on the subconscious mind is a beautiful way, I think, to really make that connection again, because we have I can say all of us, all of human beings have gone through terrible experiences, mainly women, I would say. After our training in RTT, I am even more, it's been a confirmation that women go through a lot of abuse and violence, and but they still have the ability to stand. Problem is that even though we have the ability to stand after every experience, every painful experience, somehow we end up repeating certain relationships, repeating certain experiences, because even if we have learned certain things, there is still something that needs to be reconnected within ourselves.
I think it's not so easy. It's not easy to change your subconscious mind, because even if you really want to, you need to be present. So you need to have this awareness. You need to have this ability to observe yourself, to notice your feelings, for example, and trying to find the source. Because without that, then you will always repeating, always go back. And even sometimes when you are, for example, when you decide that I really want to change, I want to change my life, I want to change everything, I am really in that. But then in some point, you just let it go, and you just go back to these old patterns, and you just leave that, even if you on the beginning you felt that I really want to have this change. Because everything needs your attention, everything needs your energy, and to involve your power to change yourself, it must be the conscious decision. It must be your real choice that you will now do something in different way every day, that you will repeat it like you are repeating this old stuff that it's not good for you. Now you will repeat it, this good stuff, what is good for you. And most of people just don't have enough free will and this, the strength inside to change it, because it's hard for them to understand this, the reason why do they do this way. Even if they really want to change it, you need to see the reason, you need to understand the reason, you need to focus on yourself deep enough to understand it and to accept yourself, and then decide and go with the decision every day, because nothing will work when you won't work on it.
Yeah, there is something that I resonate with what you say, and something that I don't exactly resonate with. When you say there are people who don't have the will to make
Not
the change.
Enough will, yes.
Not enough will. I think it's not about not having enough will. It's about not having had enough of the experience that they need to become more connected with themselves. Because it was my experience, my personal experience, until the moment I got saturated and I couldn't go on anymore in the way I was going on, in the way I was operating. I was repeating over and over the same patterns, the same thoughts, the same actions, same decisions, same choices. Mm-hmm. It's more about, I think, the being ready. The other part that you said, that you talked about, when you're ready, it means that you're really, really ready. You're deeply saturated, and you are now ready to do whatever it's in your power to make that change happen, even with the support of someone for a certain period of time. Because when we want to change, sometimes we don't maybe have all the tools yet, but we can acquire them.
Yes, but maybe it's also about the beliefs, that as long as you don't believe in yourself, that you are able to make a change. And I think it's related to this belief that we are talking about. That these old beliefs are stopping us from making the change. And But it doesn't mean it's not possible. Everything is possible when you believe. That's why we can't, for example, we can't heal the world if the world wants to be healed. If you want to change, you will do it. And you will find people to help you. You will find the way, as you said, you will find the way, you will find the strength, you will find everything which will support you enough to make a change.
Absolutely. So how do we leave our audience today? What is the little tip that we leave them between, going back to the title of our conversation, the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind?
Maybe let's maybe you can try to do a small exercise about your thinking and try to observe your thoughts from the last day and compare your thoughts to your thoughts today. And what can you observe? Is it the same, or are you doing something new in your life, or maybe you are repeating everything every day in the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that can be done in the written form, which is even better, because when you start observing yourself and you write it down, you're making more focus between how your brain works. Yeah. So this is a beautiful exercise that you can do. And we will then be soon come back with another video. So I thank you again, Carolina, for this exchange. Also, it was quite extraordinary. I also repeat myself, but this is something needed. So I ask the people who are watching this video, women and men maybe, who are resonating within themselves with the words that we are sharing with you, to connect with us if you are in the moment where you are realizing that you are finally ready to make this change happen.
Yeah.
And you can subscribe to my channel. You can subscribe to Carolina's channel that you find in the description of this video. And we will be back soon.
Yes, thank you very much. And see you next time. And it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Sabrina.